A wild Mustang stood, staring intently at a hole in the ground. At first, the forest ranger thought it was just another animal behaving strangely. But when the mysterious horse refused to leave and began desperately calling for help, everything changed. What the ranger discovered at the bottom of that hole would not only test the limits of trust between man and wild animal, but also reveal an intelligence that defied everything we thought we knew about horses. Prepare yourself for a story that will restore your faith in the miraculous bonds that can form between species in moments of crisis. The afternoon sun filtered through the pine trees as Forest Ranger Jackie Kennedy completed her routine patrol through Yellowstone's backcountry. With 15 years of experience protecting these wildlands, she had learned to read the forest like a book. But today felt different. The birds had gone silent. An eerie stillness hung in the air, and her instincts prickled with unease. That's when she spotted it, a magnificent wild Mustang standing motionless near a cluster of rocks about 50 yards from the trail. The horse was a striking chestnut color with a flowing black mane and a white blaze down its face. But it wasn't the horse's beauty that stopped Jackie in her tracks, it was its behavior. The Mustang stood with its head lowered, staring intently at something on the ground. Jackie approached cautiously, aware that wild horses can be unpredictable and potentially dangerous. Most Mustangs would have bolted by now, but this one remained frozen, its eyes locked on a specific spot. As she drew closer, Jackie realized the horse was focused on a hole deep and narrow, partially hidden by undergrowth. Probably an old well or natural sinkhole. Suddenly, the Mustang lifted its head and looked directly at Jackie. It whinnied urgently, then returned its gaze to the hole. The horse began pawing at the ground around the opening, its movements agitated and purposeful. Jackie had seen animals act strangely before, but this felt different. The Mustang's behavior seemed almost deliberate. Stepping closer, she peered into the darkness. The hole was deep, so deep that even her flashlight couldn't reach the bottom. It was roughly 3 feet in diameter, partially covered by rotting wooden planks that had collapsed. Old rope marks on nearby trees suggested it might have been an abandoned well from early settlement days. The Mustang whinnied again, louder this time, and even stepped toward Jackie before returning to the hole. It lowered its head and called down into the darkness. Then Jackie heard it, a faint sound rising from below that made her blood run cold. It sounded like crying. The Mustang looked at her again, its eyes reflecting an intelligence that felt almost human. With trembling hands, Jackie grabbed her radio and prepared to call for backup. She dropped to her knees beside the hole and shined her powerful Ranger flashlight into the depths. The beam cut through the shadows, revealing rough stone walls that vanished into pitch black. "Hello?" she called. Her voice echoed of the stone. "Is someone down there?" The Mustang stood so close that she could feel its warm breath on her neck. Its presence felt strangely comforting rather than threatening. Then, a weak voice floated up from the darkness. A child's voice, trembling with fear and exhaustion. "Help me, please. I'm stuck down here." Jackie's training kicked in immediately. "I'm Ranger Kennedy. What's your name, sweetheart?" "Emily Reagan," came the faint reply. "I fell in yesterday. My leg hurts really bad." Jackie's heart pounded. The child had been trapped for over 24 hours. Suddenly, the Mustang reared up and galloped in a circle around the hole, whinnying loudly. It returned to Jackie's side and nudged her shoulder with its muzzle, then looked pointedly at her radio. The message was clear. The horse understood they needed help. Jackie didn't hesitate. She grabbed her radio and called dispatch for immediate search and rescue assistance with medical support. "How did you find this place?" Jackie asked the horse, though she felt foolish talking to it. The Mustang responded by pawing its scattered items near the hole, a small pink backpack and a broken walking stick. These must have belonged to Emily. The horse had clearly been standing guard. But for how long? And more importantly, how had it known someone was down there? While waiting for backup, Jackie tried to keep Emily talking. "How deep are you, honey?" "I don't know," Emily sobbed. "Maybe 20 feet. There's water at the bottom. It's cold and dark. I'm scared." Jackie's flashlight finally found her, a small figure huddled on a narrow ledge about 25 feet down. Her leg was bent at an unnatural angle. The Mustang began acting even more strangely. It grabbed Jackie's backpack in its teeth and dragged it closer to the hole. Then it did something that made Jackie gasp. The horse lay down next to the opening and stretched its neck down into the hole, whinnying softly. Emily's voice brightened slightly. "The horse? It's been here since yesterday. It wouldn't leave me. It kept making noise until you came." Suddenly, Jackie understood. This wild Mustang had found Emily and stayed with her. trying to attract help. But no one had passed through this remote area until now. The horse had maintained its vigil for over a day, refusing to abandon the trapped child. As sirens wailed in the distance, Jackie looked at the Mustang with newfound respect. This was no ordinary animal. This was a guardian. The search and rescue team arrived in a flurry of activity, their vehicles kicking up dust as they surrounded the scene. Team leader Mike Rodriguez quickly assessed the situation while the Mustang watched warily from a distance. Clearly nervous about the sudden crowd but unwilling to leave, Jackie briefed the team on Emily's condition as they unloaded specialized equipment for the vertical rescue, 25 feet down. Possible broken leg. She's been there since yesterday, Jackie explained. Mike muttered as he peered into the hole with his headlamp. This is going to be tricky. The opening's too narrow for an adult to rappel down safely. The team began setting up a tripod and pulley system over the hole while the paramedic prepared medical supplies. The Mustang had retreated to about 30 feet away, but remained vigilant, its eyes never leaving the rescue operation. As they worked, Emily's mother arrived, hysterical with worry. My baby. Oh God, Emily. She tried to rush toward the hole but was held back by rangers. Ma'am, we need you to stay back. Let us work, Mike said firmly. Through tears, she explained how Emily had wandered off during their camping trip, fascinated by the wild horses she'd seen in the meadow. Then something astonishing happened. The Mustang approached the distraught mother slowly and deliberately. It stopped just out of reach and lowered its head, whinnying softly. The woman looked at Jackie in confusion. This is the horse that found your daughter, Jackie said gently. It's been standing guard over her this whole time. Emily's mother broke down completely, reaching out tentatively toward the Mustang. It stood perfectly still, allowing her to touch it, but the rescue team was facing a serious problem. The hole wasn't just narrow, it was unstable. Chunks of dirt and rock kept crumbling as they worked. We need someone small enough to fit but skilled enough to handle the technical descent, Mike announced, and Jackie stepped forward. I'll go. I am certified in vertical rescue, and I'm the smallest one here. Mike hesitated but nodded. They had no better option. As Jackie suited up in her harness and helmet, the Mustang did something extraordinary. It walked to each piece of rescue equipment, sniffing carefully, then returned to the hole and whinnied. Down to Emily. The horse is checking on you, Emily, Jackie called. It wants to make sure we're doing this right for the first time. They heard a weak laugh from below. The team secured Jackie's ropes as she prepared to descend. The Mustang positioned itself beside Emily's mother, actually lying down next to her as if offering comfort. As Jackie began her descent into the darkness, she couldn't help but wonder, how many wild animals possess this kind of empathy and intelligence? The answer might challenge everything we thought we knew about the natural world. Her descent was painfully slow. The unstable walls sent down showers of dirt and small rocks with every movement. Her headlamp lit up the narrow shaft as she carefully rappelled down, talking constantly to keep Emily calm. I'm coming down to you, sweetheart. Just a few more feet. Above her, she could hear the Mustang's occasional whinny, as if checking on their progress. The smell hit her first, earth mixed with stagnant water. As she reached Emily's level, her heart broke at the sight. The little girl was wedged on a tiny ledge, her leg clearly broken and her clothes torn and muddy. Her face was streaked with tears and dirt, but her eyes lit up when she saw Jackie. You came. I knew someone would come. The horse promised. The horse promised? Jackie asked gently while assessing her injuries. Emily nodded weakly. It kept making sounds all night like it was talking to me. I know it sounds crazy, but I felt like it was saying help would come. Jackie carefully secured her, trying not to jar the injured leg. The space was incredibly tight, barely enough room for both of them. Suddenly, above them, there was a commotion. The Mustang was whinnying frantically, and the rescue team was shouting. Mike's voice crackled through Jackie's radio. Jackie, we've got a problem. The weather service just issued a flash flood warning. There's a storm cell moving in fast. This hole could fill with water in minutes if it hits. Jackie's blood ran cold. She glanced at the water already, poured at the bottom of the shaft, working with desperate efficiency. She clipped Emily to her harness. The girl whimpered in pain as her broken leg was moved. I know it hurts, honey, but we have to move fast. Thunder rumbled ominously overhead. Jackie could already smell rain on the wind. They had minutes, maybe less, before the hole turned into a death trap. As the team began hauling them up, something remarkable happened. The Mustang positioned itself at the edge of the hole, leaning down as far as it could safely reach. It was creating a visual marker, something for Emily to focus on during the ascent. "Look, Emily, your horse friend is waiting for you," Jackie said, trying to distract her from the pain. Emily smiled weakly through her tears. The ascent was agonizing. Every bump against the wall sent shockwaves through Emily's broken leg. The first raindrops began to fall as they reached the halfway point. Above, the rescue team worked frantically, pulling with coordinated precision. The Mustang never moved from its position, even as the rain intensified. Jackie could hear water beginning to rush into the hole below them. They had made it just in time. As Jackie and Emily emerged from the hole, the rain poured down in earnest. The team quickly pulled them to safety while the medical crew rushed forward with a stretcher. The Mustang backed away to give them space, but remained close, its eyes fixed on Emily as paramedics worked to stabilize her broken leg. Thunder crashed overhead. Within minutes, the gentle rain turned into a torrential downpour. "We need to get her to the ambulance now," the lead paramedic shouted over the storm. As they lifted Emily onto the stretcher, she reached out desperately. "Wait the horse." The Mustang stepped forward, lowering its head to Emily's eye level. The child touched its muzzle gently, whispering something no one else could hear. The horse whinnied softly in response, then stepped back to allow the medical team to work. Jackie watched in awe as water began pouring into the hole they had just escaped. Within minutes, it was completely flooded. They had escaped death by mere moments. If the Mustang hadn't found Emily when it did, if it hadn't stayed to attract help, the child would have drowned when the storm hit. The timing had been nothing short of miraculous. Emily's mother stepped toward the Mustang again, tears streaming down her face. "Thank you," she said softly, her voice breaking. "You saved my baby's life." The Mustang stood still in the rain, allowing the woman to stroke its neck. For a wild horse to permit such contact was unheard of. But this was no ordinary circumstance. Mike Rodriguez watched the moment unfold, stunned. "In 30 years of rescue work," he told Jackie, "I've never seen anything like this. That horse didn't just stumble upon her. I made a conscious decision to stay and get help." He understood she was in danger. Jackie nodded, still processing the events of the day. Everything she thought she knew about wild animal behavior had been challenged. As they prepared to transport Emily to the hospital, she called out from the ambulance, "What's going to happen to the horse?" Jackie looked at the Mustang, now soaked from the rain, but still standing guard. "It'll go back to its herd," she said gently. Emily shook her head, eyes fierce. "No, it's special. It saved me. We can't just let it go back to the wild. It's not just a wild horse anymore." The rescue team exchanged glances. Protocol dictated that wild horses remain wild, but this situation was far from typical. The Mustang had displayed intelligence and compassion beyond anything they'd seen or read about. As the ambulance prepared to pull away, the horse suddenly reared up and galloped in a wide circle, then trotted back and stood beside Jackie. Its message was unmistakable. Its job wasn't finished yet. The storm had passed, leaving the forest fresh and glistening. Jackie stood with the rescue team, watching the Mustang graze nearby. It showed no sign of leaving, occasionally lifting its head to look toward the road where the ambulance had disappeared. Mike had already called headquarters, kicking off a bureaucratic storm that rivaled the one they'd just endured. "We can't just capture a wild Mustang because it saved someone," Regional Director Janet Williams said over the radio. "There are laws, protocols. Wild horses are federally protected." Jackie felt a rising frustration. "This isn't just any wild horse," she said. "You didn't see what I saw. This animal showed intelligence and empathy. It made deliberate choices that saved a child's life." At that moment, the Mustang walked toward Jackie, something clenched in its mouth. It dropped the object at her feet, Emily's small pink hair ribbon, which must have fallen during the rescue. The horse looked at her, then toward the road. The message was unmistakable. It wanted to know about Emily. Even the skeptical members of the rescue team were stunned by this display of concern. Jackie's phone rang. It was Emily's mother, calling from the hospital. "Emily's doing well," she said. "Her leg will heal perfectly. But she keeps asking about the horse. She says she needs to thank it properly." "Is there any way?" Jackie looked at the Mustang, then at her colleagues. "Tell Emily," she said softly, "her horse friend is still here, waiting to hear from her. She's okay," the mother said softly. The relief in her voice was palpable. That evening, Jackie set up a temporary observation post near the site where they'd found Emily. She wanted to document the Mustang's behavior and build a case for why this horse was different. As darkness fell, The horse did something remarkable. It returned to the now flooded hole and stood vigil, occasionally calling out almost as if checking to make sure no one else was trapped. It was maintaining a patrol. The next morning brought unexpected visitors. A group of wildlife biologists had heard about the rescue and arrived to investigate. Among them was Dr. Elena Foster, a renowned expert on equine intelligence. She was particularly intrigued. "If what you're describing is accurate," she said, setting up monitoring equipment, "this could revolutionize our understanding of wild horse cognition." Over the following days, the horse continued to demonstrate extraordinary behavior. It approached the flooded hole several times a day, inspecting it carefully. It appeared to learn the ranger's patrol routes, sometimes even appearing at checkpoints, almost as if it were reporting in. Most astonishingly, it began bringing found objects: a lost hiking boot, a stuffed sack from camping gear, placing them where rangers would find them. This wild Mustang wasn't just surviving in the wild. It was actively participating in forest safety. 2 weeks after the rescue, Jackie received a call that would change everything. Emily was being released from the hospital, and her family had made an unusual request through their lawyer. They wanted to establish a foundation dedicated to wild horse preservation with a special focus on identifying and protecting horses that displayed exceptional intelligence and cooperation with humans. Their first act, petitioning for special status for the Mustang that had saved Emily. The legal precedent was unprecedented, but public opinion was overwhelmingly supportive. News of the rescue had gone viral. Footage of the Mustang standing guard over the flooded hole had been viewed millions of times. Even wildlife advocates, usually opposed to any human interference with wild animals, found themselves arguing for an exception. This horse had proven itself to be more than just wild. It was a bridge between two worlds. Dr. Foster's research confirmed it. The Mustang displayed problem-solving skills and emotional intelligence on par with dolphins and great apes. More importantly, it consistently showed a desire to cooperate with humans while maintaining its wild independence. "This isn't about domestication," Dr. Foster told the review board. "It's about recognizing a unique individual that chose to save a human life." The day Emily returned to the forest was deeply emotional, still on crutches but determined. She insisted on visiting the exact spot where she'd been rescued. The Mustang appeared within minutes, as if it had been waiting. The reunion was magical. The horse approached slowly, gently nuzzling Emily's outstretched hand. There wasn't a dry eye among the rangers, scientists, and media who witnessed the moment. "I want to name him," Emily said. "Guardian, because that's what he is." The name stuck immediately. The newly christened Guardian was granted special protected status, not captured, not tamed, but monitored, protected, and free to roam. A small shelter was built near his favorite grazing area for extreme weather. Jackie became Guardian's primary observer, documenting his continued interactions with visitors and his evolving role within the wild herd. Over time, Guardian became a legend in the park. He was often spotted by hikers in distress. He led lost campers back to the trails. Once, he even alerted rangers to an illegal poaching operation. His story sparked a new field of study into wild animal intelligence and interspecies cooperation. Years later, when Emily graduated from veterinary school specializing in equine behavior, Guardian was still patrolling his territory. The bond between the horse and the girl he saved became a lasting symbol of the mysterious connection possible between species. It proved that sometimes, in the vastness of the wild, miracles walk on 4 hooves, and that the wildest hearts can be the most compassionate of all. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the like button. Share this story with someone who needs to believe in miracles today, and comment below. If you've ever had an amazing connection with an animal, we'd love to hear your story. Together, we can celebrate the incredible bonds that unite all living beings. Thank you for watching, and remember, heroes come in all forms, sometimes with hooves instead of hands.